Imagine a world where a man's tears are seen as weakness, a world where shedding a single tear marks a man as a failure instead of a living, breathing human being. Picture this. From the moment you came into being, you were handed down a rule as ancient as time, whispered in your ear by relatives, teachers, coaches, and friends alike. So simple, so unassuming, have carried a load of pain heavier than most of us realize. And if you're listening today, I want you to feel that sudden jolt, that shock that comes with realizing the power those 3 words have had over your life. This rule has persisted for generations, lurking in the corners of our minds, telling men to hide their tears, to lock away their sadness, and to wear an unbreakable mask of stoicism. But is that silence truly strength? Or is it a trap that robs us of genuine connection, peace, and joy? Before we dive deeper into this journey, I want to invite you to join our community. If you're moved by these ideas, if your heart is stirring at the thought of reclaiming your right to feel, take a moment to hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss out on these powerful conversations. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps to spread this message, helping more men realize that they don't have to suffer in silence. Now, let's walk together into the heart of this topic with open hearts and open minds. Let ancient wisdom stir in you. Let timeless proverbs echo in your soul. Let the thoughts of philosophers who came before us remind us that to explore our inner world is to truly live. Let's peel back the layers of this toxic rule and discover the freedom that lies beyond. From the earliest moments of our lives, many of us have been taught that a man must be strong, that strength means never showing weakness. Man up, they say. Don't show your feelings. Men don't cry. At first, these phrases seem like nothing more than simple advice, but beneath them lies a heavy burden. They demand that men hide the most natural expression of human emotion, tears. It's as if crying is a currency, and we're told that spending even a single tear is equivalent to bankruptcy. Yet, in ancient times, the measure of a person's character was not the absence of tears, but the courage to face hardship. A proverb from the distant past reminds us that a man's pain is his secret to bear. That secret, whispered from father to son, sister to brother, taught generations to lock away their grief, believing that suffering in silence would mold them into unbreakable fighters. But when we examine this saying today, we see its darker side. It tells men that showing real emotion is not an option, that to feel deeply is to invite shame. Philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle believed that true wisdom begins with self-examination. Socrates famously declared, "An unexamined life is not worth living." If we never allow ourselves to explore the depths of our emotions, to acknowledge the tears that linger behind our stoic fronts, are we truly living? The rule, "Men don't cry," steals from us the very essence of self-discovery. It convinces us that the path to wisdom is through repression, not through honest reflection. For centuries, countless societies built the identity of manhood upon a foundation of silence. In ancient China, wise elders whispered that to show sorrow in public was to demonstrate a lack of control. In the epic tales of ancient Greece, heroes fought battles of heart and mind, their wounds hidden beneath the veneer of invincibility. We have a saying that still waters run deep. It speaks of hidden strength, but it also hints at the silent suffering beneath a calm surface. Pain was acknowledged, yes, but it was to be managed privately, like a forbidden secret locked away. Over time, this belief solidified into a rigid rule: men must not cry. And in modern society, this rule evolved into something toxic, something that forces men to bury their true selves and see their tears as a betrayal of their very identity. Yet, another ancient saying from India reminds us that tears are the language of the heart. Tears are not a flaw. They are the purest form of communication, a way for our hearts to speak when words fail. But in many corners of the world today, that language has been silenced. Men are told that tears are a sign of weakness, something to be ashamed of, something to hide. And the cost of this silence is enormous. Lonely grows, stress festers, and mental health crumbles. What does it really mean to be strong? Many believe that true strength is the ability to hold everything inside, to keep a stoic front no matter how battered the heart feels. Yet the philosopher Confucius taught that a true gentleman balances honor with sensitivity. He said, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." If falling means shedding a tear, rising means accepting that tear, learning from it, and emerging stronger. The rule, "men don't cry," demands that we reject the natural flow of emotions, as though each tear is a failure instead of a sign of humanity. But consider this: every tear is a message from the soul, a signal that we are alive, that we feel, and that we care. There's an old English idiom, "It's no use crying over spilled milk." It tells us not to dwell on past mistakes, but it doesn't condemn crying itself. It acknowledges that crying is a normal response to loss. Yet, when men bottle up their pain, pretending that nothing can touch them, they carry invisible scars, wounds that never heal. The Roman Stoic Seneca warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. But if we never let ourselves face the reality of our sorrow, we remain trapped in a cycle of fear and misunderstanding. Imagine a man at the end of a grueling day. Perhaps he's lost his job. Perhaps he's suffered a personal loss. He forces himself to put on a brave face because that's what is expected of him. The weight of society's expectations presses down on his chest, telling him that to cry is to risk ridicule, to invite scorn. But that pressure doesn't protect him. It chains him. Over time, the act of hiding his tears becomes a heavy anchor that drags him deeper into despair. Every emotion he suppresses is like a drop of water behind a dam, building pressure until it finds a way out in an uncontrolled, destructive torrent. Psychologist Friedrich Nietzsche believed that facing suffering head-on transforms it into strength. He wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." If a man never has the chance to explore the why behind his tears, his ability to endure the how is severely limited. When men suppress their emotions, they may develop anxiety or depression, feeling isolated and alone even in a crowded room. A man who doesn't cry may look strong on the outside, but inside, he battles unseen demons. The old saying, "A burden shared is a burden halved," underscores the healing power of sharing our experiences. But the rule, "men don't cry," robs men of that opportunity, forcing them to carry their burdens alone, day after day. There are countless untold stories of men who have suffered in silence. A father who loses his job might hide his tears, fearing it will undermine his role as the protector of his family. Instead of seeking support, he shoulders his pain quietly, believing that any display of emotion is a betrayal of his duty. Over months or years, that unspoken anguish can transform into deep depression, a hollow ache that poisons his soul. Consider a young man experiencing the agony of a broken heart. His friends tell him to man up and get over it. So, he buries his pain, even as tears fall in darkness, unseen by the world. He convinces himself that his worth is tied to his ability to hide his feelings. But with every tear that falls in secret, he drifts further away from the healing power of honesty. Yet amidst these tales of silent suffering, there are stories of transformation. Some men, after years of hiding their tears, find the courage to let their emotions be known. They learn that crying is not weakness, but bravery. When they share their tears, they share their true selves, forging connections with others who understand their struggle. One such story speaks of a celebrated athlete, revered for his physical prowess, who one day broke down in front of his teammates after a crushing loss. His tears sparked a conversation about mental health and the importance of emotional honesty. That act of vulnerability became a turning point, showing that real strength is not the absence of tears, but the courage to let them flow. In our modern society, the rule, "men don't cry," has consequences that extend far beyond individual suffering. Studies reveal that men are less likely to seek help for mental health struggles because of the stigma attached to emotion. This unspoken rule breeds a hidden crisis, men suffering in isolation, unable to voice their pain. The pressure to conform to a narrow definition of masculinity harms not just individuals, but entire communities. Relationships fracture when one partner cannot share his true feelings. Friendships fade when emotional depth is blocked by silence, and society as a whole loses the gift of honest, heartfelt communication. Imagine a world where, instead of silence, we taught our boys that feeling deeply is a sign of strength. Picture a classroom where a young child, tears in his eyes, is met not with scorn but with kindness and understanding. In such a world, the old toxic rule loses its grip, replaced by a new truth. A brave heart shows its true colors, even in tears. It starts with simple changes in language, no longer telling boys to man up or be tough, but instead encouraging them that it is brave to feel and to share your heart. We need safe spaces, places where men can speak freely about their emotions, where tears are met with empathy, not ridicule. Whether at home, in a support group, or a casual chat with a friend, every moment of openness chips away at the walls built by old beliefs. Leaders, coaches, teachers, fathers can model vulnerability, showing that to cry is not a flaw, but a step toward wholeness. Practical steps abound. Ask a friend, "How are you really doing today?" and listen with genuine empathy. Share your own struggles. Let others see that you too are human and that you cry. Remember the age-old proverb, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." True friends stand by one another, not only in triumphs, but also in tears. Modern thinkers like Brené Brown have shown us that vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. She reminds us that when we expose our raw selves, tears and all, we create bridges between hearts. Each time a man allows himself to cry in front of others, he declares that he is not alone, that his pain is valid, and that his journey toward healing is shared by many. Crying is not an admission of defeat. It is a testament to being alive. Every tear is a release, a step toward healing. The Persian poet Hafez once wrote, "The heart has its own language, and sometimes it speaks in tears." That language is a gift, an honest expression of the soul. When we let ourselves cry, we unlock the door to a healthier life. Emotions kept locked away can twist into bitterness, anxiety, and despair. But when we allow those tears, we let the waters flow, cleansing and renewing us. Consider the world as a garden, and emotions as the rain that nourishes it. In a drought, plants wilt and die. In too much rain, flooding can occur. But in balance, rain brings life. Tears may feel harsh, but they help us grow. The proverb, "After the rain comes the rainbow," offers hope. Tears pave the way for brighter days. When we embrace our vulnerability, we cultivate compassion and wisdom, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us. So how do we rewrite this age-old narrative for future generations? It starts in our homes and schools, where children learn their first lessons about life. Let us teach our boys that crying is not only acceptable, but necessary. Imagine a father who, when his son comes to him with tears, does not scold him, but listens, holds him, and says, "It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry." In that moment, a new belief is planted, one that will grow into a forest of emotional freedom for years to come. The media and the arts also have a role to play. Movies, songs, and stories that depict men who cry and emerge stronger help shift public perception. When we see our heroes, our idols, embracing their tears, we learn that vulnerability is not a defect, but a signature of courage. We start to understand that a hero's strength is measured not by the tears he holds back, but by the tears he lets flow. In everyday life, let us celebrate the quiet heroes among us, fathers, sons, brothers, friends, who find the courage to show their tears. These stories, shared in ordinary conversations, light a fire of hope in those still hiding. Each personal victory, though small in the eyes of the world, is a monumental step toward a society that values emotional honesty and connection. As we envision a future of compassion and connection, let us remember Lao Tzu's words. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Change, indeed, takes time, but every small act of openness, every tear allowed to fall, moves us closer to a world where every man is free to express his feelings. Imagine that world, a place where the idea, "men don't cry," is a relic of the past, replaced by a simple truth: every human being deserves to feel and to share. In such a future, hearts will be lighter, relationships deeper, and communities stronger. There will be no shame in tears, only the recognition that tears are testimony to our humanity. Every tear shed is a seed planted in the soil of hope. When we break free from the toxic rule of emotional suppression, we open a path to greater compassion, understanding, and authenticity. Today, I invite you to join this movement. Let us stand up, speak out, and let our tears be seen, not as marks of disgrace, but as badges of honor. Let our tears remind us that we are alive, that we are capable of immense love, sorrow, joy, and everything in between. Let our tears forge connections that transcend isolating walls of silence, building bridges between hearts that have longed for honest communion. To wrap up, know this: the rule, "men don't cry," is more than just an old saying. It is a toxic belief that has stolen pieces of our souls, pieces of our strength, and robbed us of deeper connections. That rule tells us to hide, to lie about who we are, and to pretend that our humanity is unbreakable. But we have the power to change this narrative. We can redefine strength as the courage to feel deeply, the willingness to cry openly, and the bravery to share our inner lives with those who truly care. Reflect on the wisdom of ancient philosophers, from Socrates to Confucius, from the poets of old to the voices of today. Their message is clear. True strength comes not from hiding our pain, but from confronting it with honesty and tenacity. Every tear is a sign that you are alive, that you are battle-tested, and that you have the power to grow. So the next time you feel the urge to hide your tears, remember that they are not a sign of failure, but a testament to your journey. You have permission to cry, permission to feel, and permission to be fully human. Embrace your emotions as a vital part of life, and know that with each tear, you step closer to a brighter, more compassionate future. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of why the toxic rule, "men don't cry," must be challenged. May this message inspire you to live more honestly, to open your heart, and to share your true self with the world. Together, let us build a future where every tear is recognized as a sign of life, a sign of hope, and a sign of true strength.